Hey guys, I'm Chef D-Max. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today, a really simple mushroom, tofu, and pepper stir fry with some rice noodles. Really easy to do. Can't wait to show it to you. Stay with me. Click subscribe if you're not doing that. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Ring that bell, and I'll send you new things I have coming up. So see you back in a second. Okay guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to do a simple stir fry, and this is somewhat healthy. There's really no meat in it. It's really all about the tofu, the mushrooms. So this is something very quick. The only thing that takes a little bit of time is I have some beautiful rice noodles here. You can see these, right? And all I've done is soaked those. So you want to cover them in these medium-sized ones like this. Some are very fine. They can soak in 20 minutes. The thicker ones, maybe like even long, like an hour. These take about 30 minutes to soak in just warm water. Doesn't have to be hot or boiling water. It can be even like mid-temperature water. It's fine. I don't use cold because then it takes a little bit longer. And those are ready to go. I've strained those out. We're just going to add those in. To cook those, they're only going to take a minute or two to cook in the liquid that I've created with my dish. So whatever you're stir frying, whatever liquid you have in there, whether it's chicken stock or soy sauce with water, whatever it might be, that's going to be enough liquid to finish those peppers. So what I want to do with this, I wanted to give it a little spice. So I've got my pan on here, my stir fry pan. You could use a wok if you had one at home, would be great. And then I've got some ginger. So the ginger you've seen I've diced up here. And to do that, you just take a clean piece of fresh ginger and you slice it into thin pieces like this. Now, when I lay those pieces down like that, I'll come back and I'll cut them again into long, thin strips. Now these long, thin strips. When I line those up and I cut back, this gives me this tiny mince, and that's what I'm looking for, a tiny mince. And why do we do that? We just don't want these like big, heavy bites of the ginger. We want the ginger to be this beautiful flavor all throughout. So I just mince it up like that. Now, you could grind it up if you want. The only thing with pureeing it is it becomes hairy a little bit. You know, there's a lot of hairs in it, so it's a lot better to dice it like that. Now I've got garlic here too. So with the garlic, I'm just gonna chop it up and then slice it. I just smashed it a little bit and sliced it. Why am I doing that? Because I want it to kind of break up a little bit, and I'm gonna cut it back the other way, and it's gonna like give me a nice dice. And these don't have to be too small, but we just want enough where we get all that flavor. The garlic's gonna cook nicely in here. We're gonna toast the garlic first, so we're not worried about having if you get a bigger piece of garlic in this, it's fine because it's gonna be toasted, and that's what we're looking for. So I put the garlic here in the center like that, okay? Now I have some Thai chilies, you can see here, right? And with these Thai chilies, I could cut these up, but I'm just gonna smash those a little like that and put them in my oil. Why? Because I want to get the heaty flavor from them. When I smash those, let some of the oil inside out. I've got ginger here too, right? I'm going to put ginger around the ginger that we just diced, right? I'm going to put a little bit more oil so it doesn't burn right off the bat. And then we want that to cook, okay? Now, our other two things that are going to take the longest time are our peppers and our mushrooms. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my pepper here and slice this. Now, see, I don't want this garlic to burn, so I want to move it around. I want it to toast, okay? And now I'm going to mix it all together, right? And we're going to have this toasted ginger and garlic flavor, really with the chilies. The chilies are going to have a spice. There's nothing in this that's hot, so that's going to add our heat. So I want to have my heat in there with these chilies, right? Ginger gives us this exotic flavor. Garlic, we know what that gives us. Okay, now I've diced up my peppers, and I'm going to add those in now. I'll show you in a second how to dice those, because I didn't really show you that, but I will. Okay, the reason I want to throw the peppers in quickly is because they're a little watery, right, and wet. So what they're going to do is they're going to slightly deglaze the pan. It's going to keep my garlic from burning. But I got my garlic nice and dark first, right, and my ginger nice and toasted. But we don't want to burn those. So by putting these peppers in there like this, right, it's going to allow that to cool off a second. Now, to show you how to do this, we're just going to slice the outsides of the pepper, and then I cut it like this so the stem piece would just throw away. And then we lay these peppers down, and I'm just gonna slice them back. I don't worry about julienning them and cutting them ultra small, because I wanna have a little bit of bite of the pepper. It can be a little bit bigger, right, than normal, right? And I'm gonna add those in. But we do wanna sear these nicely and cook the water out of them. That's gonna intensify the flavor. Now, one of the reasons we leave those Thai chilies, those red chilies, whole is like later, you know, people will see them in the dish and you can pull them out so you don't get too burnt if you eat one, because they are hot. Some people like it that hot. But if you dice them up in there, they're gonna be scattered out in there and you couldn't pull them out. Now they're gonna add heat, but I can actually pull them out so they don't get extremely hot, okay? Now, if you don't have a Thai chili, I always buy Thai chilies when I go to the Thai market fresh, and then I keep them in the freezer. When I need them, I pull them out and use them. Because you can never use a whole bag of those Thai chilies at one time. It's just way too hot, unless you're making hot sauce. So keep them in the freezer, and then just pop them out when you need them. Now, if you don't have those, you could put a little bit of red chili flake in here if you want. If you wanted to buy that little red curry paste, Thai red curry paste, you could do that. It would be a nice way to put chili in here. Sometimes I use sambal. You guys have seen me use sambal in the kitchen before. Sambal is a nice chili too that doesn't really have any other flavor in it, so it's nice. Now, I'm gonna put these peppers like this on the outside like this, spread everything, create like a little gap right here, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more oil, and I'm gonna put my mushrooms in the center. Now, I just want those mushrooms to cook. These are just a cremini mushroom. You can use any mushroom you want, right? But I just want to cook those nice. Okay, while we do that, I've got some green onions here. Green onions, I've just cut the stems off and I've washed those. And we're gonna come back and I'm gonna dice those, and I'll show you what that looks like. You see how we just dice this nicely down? You always wanna wash green onions really good because they can get dirt and grit in them at the store. Right, so I've got those and they're ready to go. You know what I'll do? I'll put those right in my container here. So basically the green onion, I don't really need to saute those. I like those fresh in there, right? As well as the cilantro. I've got cilantro here, kind of some stems in it and all. I don't care. I'm just gonna use big chunks of it like this. I don't wanna cut it into mince, okay? I just want it to be very like vegetably, herbally, lettucey in my dish, right? I wanna see the big leaves, right? We've got some bean sprouts here. I don't need to do anything to them. Both of those items are quick saute. So the rest of this needs to cook a little while. Those don't. Those just need to be there and flavor at the very end of the dish, right? Now, I'm gonna bring it all together in here as the mushrooms start to cook. And I want to let the juices all come together from this. Okay. And let that continue to saute. Now, while that's continuing to saute, the last thing that we're gonna really put a little bit of, not really a sear on, is our tofu. Now here we have our tofu. I'm just gonna cut it like in half. I'll probably use half of a container of tofu, right? Here I put it on the board. I'm gonna leave it in kind of bigger chunks. And then what I do is just lay it down like this, lay it down like this. Or you can do it however. And it doesn't take a lot to cut these. Everybody has a sharp knife when it comes to cutting tofu, right? Because there's really nothing to do. But I love this like kind of soft. This is not an extra firm. This is considered a medium. It's very velvety and like a silky is the word. Actually, I think it even says silky on it. But when you buy your tofu, if you like really, the firm tofu tends to get a little spongy in flavor. It's been very dehydrated, so I don't really love that as much, to be honest with you. So with this, you can see we're getting a nice sear on our mushrooms. I want to make sure any bits that are browning on the bottom of this pan, you want to kind of scrape those with the water that's in this as the mushrooms are giving off water, the peppers are giving off water. You want to scrape it to create a clean pan. You never want the pan to kind of always keep that grit in there and burn, because if that grit goes in there and burns, those are just residues from the vegetables, and as they sit in there, if you don't properly scrape them off, they'll burn. And if they burn, then they're going to make this thing taste a little kind of off. So now our mushrooms, we basically looking to cook our mushrooms. What we've done now is our peppers and mushrooms have extracted most of their water. We're only on a few minutes here cooking this. So this is very simple, right? And then once I get my mushrooms like that, cooked enough where they have lost most of their liquid and the peppers are nicely cooked, right? I'm going to create another gap in this like this, right? And then I'm going to add in a little bit more oil in the center because I want there to be nice moisture. And I'm going to add in my tofu right into the center of that, okay? See how they're going to lay that in there? Just move it over, lay it all in there. We'll let it like sear up in the center of that, okay? Once that sears up, I've got some cashews here. Now the cashews I'm going to add in now because I'd like to let them toast a little in this as well. You could use peanuts. You know, a lot of times people have problems with peanuts these days, but if you don't have a problem with peanuts and your friends don't have a problem with peanuts, add some peanuts in there. It would be really nice. So this is starting to cook a little like this. Now what we want to do to finish this is I'm going to add in a little bit of fish sauce and a little bit of oyster sauce. Now we don't need soy sauce in this because both of these oyster sauce and fish sauce are going to give saltiness to this dish. So we're going to be good with the salt, okay? So this tofu is a very silky one. This is not going to crisp up and get crunchy, okay? That's not what we're looking to do with that, okay? So with this, I'm going to put in a nice little amount of fish sauce. It's probably a 1/4 cup of fish sauce and probably 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, okay? That's it. It's going to give this a lot of flavor. Bean sprouts at this point, okay? Okay, all of our flavors in here coming together, right? Cilantro, I'm going to add that in at the end, but what I want to do at this point is put in my noodles. The noodles are going to go right on the top here, okay? We don't take a lot. You know, this dish isn't about like all of these noodles, even though these rice noodles are gluten-free, probably a little bit lighter for you than like a regular flour noodle. So with this, I'm just going to toss it around, and we want to let the noodles and that liquid from the tofu, from the fish sauce, from the oyster sauce, all of that's come together. We really don't need any salt or pepper. We already have the pepper of the one, and that's it. So with this, I'm just going to cover it. So I'll put a cover on this. I'm going to let this cook for like a minute or two, and then we're going to open it up, and I'll finish it with cilantro. So I'll see you guys back in a second. Okay, guys, now it's been a couple minutes. I'm going to take off this lid. Let's put this to the side. Okay, and let's look where we are. Okay, we've got a little bit of the liquid in there because I've kept a lid on that keeps the steam in so it doesn't completely evaporate, which is fine because that's what I'm looking for. I want to keep some of the moisture. You can see the noodles now have gotten super tender because they're pretty cooked. 2 minutes is more than enough time for those to cook. We don't want them to overcook either, right? So at this point we're done, right? I think what we just really need to do is turn it off. We need to put our cilantro in and our green onions, right? And we need to toss those in. I just work those in lightly like that. We don't want to break everything up, you know. It's just beautiful. You can see how it's the vegetables, everything's cooked together, and we have this wonderful dish. This is about enough for 2 people. It's a very small amount. It's probably like 1/3 of a package of those noodles. When you buy those noodles, you don't have to make that whole thing. A lot of times people make that whole thing, and I think it's just way too much. So when you do this, you take these noodles, look at that. Oh my goodness. Whoops, a mess here. But wow, these vegetables are all wonderful. Look at this, mushrooms. That dish is ready to go. I'm just gonna eat it right out of here, actually. I'll serve that to my friends. Look at this. So these noodles are, they really don't need a lot to cook, and they're just, you want them to get tender. Don't overcook them so they get broken up. Really quick like this, 2 minutes. Perfect flavor, perfect saltiness. Now, if you needed more salt, you could either add salt or you could add some more fish sauce, but that was the perfect amount, like 1/4 cup for this amount was a lot of fish sauce. gives it incredible flavor. The pepper flavor, I'm getting a little bit of heat, but I'm not getting, it's not spicy hot at all. It could be probably for anybody that would have it. Now, what you want to do is be careful though. You want to look for those peppers and know how many you put in. So I know I put in 3. You want to put those on the side. So if somebody does like hot peppers, you can stick a hot pepper on the side so they know it, but you don't want to let them sit there and eat it. Like me, I just went in there after it and I could have accidentally eaten one. In which case I probably couldn't talk to you because they're so hot. And that's why I leave the stem on them. See, it's right here and ready. But if you like hot and spicy, by all means, eat those up, enjoy them. These are some great flavors. Super simple to make this for your family at home. Fast. It's vegetarian as well. Well, it's kind of vegetarian. It's got fish sauce in it, so it's not really truly a vegetarian dish. You could leave that out and put a little bit of soy sauce in there and that would be fine. But super healthy and quick to make too. So I hope you enjoy it and see you back in the kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.